Good afternoon, everybody. It's RT here in the lab, and it's Community Coin Thursday today, which means you guys get to decide what I'm going to chart on Twitter at Real Hero Labs. So if you haven't already, check that out. Follow us on there, and on Thursday mornings, I'll be putting out a tweet that lets you request whatever charts you like. A lot of my best trades this year have come from ideas in the audience during our live streams, which, by the way, happen at 3 p.m. Eastern on Wednesday and Friday every week. DeFi on Wednesday, Hero Labs Live with myself on Friday, and Shitcoin Church floating around the Monday-Tuesday slot, depending on the week with Crypto Messiah. Stay tuned to his Twitter if you want to follow that. Now, today I've got about 10 coins on the list that I'm going to chart, got them done up. Going to take a quick look at Bitcoin and Ethereum and Bitcoin dominance. Q2 is looking so good right now. So I'm going to unpack as much of that as I can in the next 10 to 15 minutes for you. Stay tuned. All right, let's get started with Bitcoin over here on the range that I've been tracking for a little while. Has dropped back into range this week. Pump chaser zone. Looks like it's catching a bounce. This is a local downtrend in my mind. I'm actually looking for longs, probably down here in the local reload zone if we get it. If we just break to new highs, great. Hopefully it takes it easy so that the altcoins can still party, because Bitcoin dominance is moving down fairly heavily. Actually, you can see here as I zoom out, it messes up some of the words on the chart here, but I mean, that's a heavy drop. That is very significant level, has been interacted with many times before. So that drop down from there tells me that we are in for an extended alt window, likely throughout Q2, which is really exciting for guys like me, traders like us. Ethereum is looking outstanding right now on the daily and the weekly. Starting off with the weekly here, just a nice simple chart. Here was previous all-time highs. We broke above it. Really nice volume to push us through to that level. Big fat retest and a bounce, a little bit of a higher low here, and then a move up. We just got our highest weekly close ever. So it's really hard for me to be sitting here thinking about tops, thinking about, what comes next in the terms of downside. I'm really focused long and strong in the market. And of course, I've got some dry powder on hand because I love dip days, and you want to love them. And to love them, you got to be in a position to take advantage of them. So that's not to say that I'm just all in. I don't have any leverage positions, but right now I am so bullish on this space, and that really starts and stops with what we just saw on Ethereum. Here on the daily, you can see a nice fat target up around 3,000 to 3,300 on the higher time frames. So if we break out of this in earnest, this is kind of where I see us grinding higher to, or blasting straight to, who knows? But that is an area where I will be, watching for profit taking, watching for local highs. And that happened right here. It's not on this chart, but this was like an exact tag of the last fib extension from the last move up. So we're going to be looking to do the same thing again. Locally, however, after our dump earlier this week, we are just back up in a short reload zone. So I'm cautious here. I'm not rushing into anything, certainly not leveraging up longs in a short reload zone like this, because if we are on Bitcoin going to trend down into this range, then this is not an area to suddenly then be looking for longs. This is an area where I'm thinking, like, if I want to scalp short the market, which is not really something I have time for lately or any interest in, we are coming up to the breakdown point, short reload zone. So I wouldn't actually be shocked here to see Ethereum squeeze out some late bulls and just make this the most painful way to go higher. Markets really like to do that. So by my trading plan, I can only look for shorts here, but undetermined if I'm going to do that. Right now, my main focus is altcoins. You guys requested a number of altcoins today on Twitter. I obviously can't do all of them. There's so many great ideas there, but I've got LTO, VSP, Badger, Zcash, API3, Must, Woo, Arweave, MFT, OMG, GRT, and Razor. So let's get started. I'm going to start off with the ones I got on TradingView. Right now, LTO looking very strong after this accumulation range breakout last week. We talked about it on stream, right in this zone, thinking, man, this thing looks ready to move. And it did not disappoint. It took off. So now that we've moved out of this consolidation range, we get to have fun with the Chaos PRZ. Now these lows are a little extreme. I'm kind of tempted to take a stronger bottom like right here, stick it up to the middle. It's just going to give us a slightly lower target. It's still going to be a ridiculous target, but we won't risk missing it by a few pips. This is what I like to do when I'm looking at accumulation range breakouts. This kind of thing looks ridiculous every time you do it, but it seems to hit so often. If you guys have been watching this channel, you know that. So LTO just looks primed for, a fairly strong quarter, year, whatever you want to call it. Zcash on the weekly just doesn't look that great. The privacy coins, the blue chip privacies are getting a nice bid over the last few days. But zooming out, it's just a big fat downtrend. And yes, it may be reversing here. There's some nice buy volume to support. So what we need to do is then zoom in and see, can I get a weekly W? Technically just had that here over the last few weeks where we had a higher high on the weekly for the first time. So a dip back into that reload zone would have been a nice area to be thinking long down in here, because you just got early signs of reversal. There's weekly resistance right up here that stopped price in its tracks. As you can see right here, got knocked back down. So, on a higher time frame, I'd probably be more inclined, if anything, to just wait to regain that level. This is where sort of all the partying was back in 2019, 2020. Do I wait and see, can price reclaim this? Because once it does that, looking back, this is just be this like weird shakeout accumulation range that basically lasted 4 months. Lots of buying happening down there. So it actually does look pretty good on a high time frame, but there's way sexier options for me personally. I won't be looking at things like Zcash for the next foreseeable future. Arweave is just a beast. Look at this thing. Absolute monster rally over the last little while. Not much I can say about this, other than that it's out of a value area where I'm sitting here thinking like, ooh, this is going to break out, it's going to run. So it won't get onto my green list, but it came up here to this chaos PRZ, kind of consolidated around that, took a little pause. It's coming up to the 877, which is going to probably be a great opportunity for anyone who accumulated down here to start paying themselves if they haven't already. Just looks strong, period. You can kick out some other chaos levels. You got some confluence up here from this consolidation. So again, definitely up in this 37, 38. Doesn't mean that's the top, but how the hell else do I decide where to pay myself on things when they're going long? I like to use this tool. So really interesting. I mean, this project just looks strong. And I remember hearing about it having really strong backing as well. MFT, I thought was mainframe. It is mainframe, but now they've rebranded. CoinGecko, you can see here, Hi-Fi Finance for MFT, and it is the same coin. So I don't know. I guess TradingView just hasn't updated the name yet. But again, this thing's looking strong. Probably start at the weekly because it's such a high time frame chart. And as you can see here, nice weekly W breakout, higher high, and now it's ready to go. So I don't see a ton of volume. We got some nice to kind of start the rally. So if this breaks to new highs here, I want to see some buyers really step in, showing that there's like, wow, okay, we're really going. There's going to be, I should say extended rally. That would be a big hint. The next big area to watch here that should act as some fairly aggressive resistance is right up here. And you can see on the VPVR lows, the value section here, that should act as resistance as well as these previous lows here. So expect to see a tough time getting through the mid 70s, but if it breaks above that, these high time frame chaos PRZs are where we could be headed if there's a prolonged kind of alt rally, whatever it looks like to get through there. And then it's just, this is the kind of shit you can sometimes look back and see. Although, of course, on this chart, that's October. So who knows? OMG is putting in a weekly W possibly this week. We still need to get the close, but this thing came right off the lows that we were watching on stream. And looks like it got a huge blast of volume yesterday. So this thing looks primed. And, of course, we've got Chaos PRZ up here. We've got old resistance up here. There's a few other resistance levels could draw on. This one's a little thick. Usually I like to keep those thin because they're easier to break through when they're thin, right? But we get support here, resistance here, resistance here. So expect to see some price interaction around the 2,400 mark. Again, with this coming out like that, you get the weekly close above that weekly W level, and then it's all about finding the dips after that. So I don't often just say, oh, look, weekly close at a bullish level. I'm going to just buy that, especially after, 10 days straight. I find historically, especially if Bitcoin, ETH are going to break to new highs, something like that, some of these BTC pairs, they may offer us really nice dips. So not necessarily like an ape in right here for me, but with this new high in volume locally, I'm really excited about the potential for OMG to soak up a huge amount of this upside range. After, a candle body high here, we could just draw a quick range basically from last year when they announced their Tether payment rail, or whatever is going to run on OMG. You know, getting up into here this year seems probable if we get an alt season. So lots of excitement there. GRT parked right above the reload zone, so it's kind of back down to that accumulation. What I want to see now is some evidence of buyers being interested. Right now, I just don't see that. Bears are in control. Bears are in control. Bears are in control. Bears are in control. So it doesn't look like it's ready just yet, but get some nice breakout volume on something. Buy the next dip. This thing could be off to another leg. Fib extension would take that all the way up to 9,400 sats. Woo has had an incredible year with 3 Arrows Capital invested. This thing was on our radar from back here on stream. Someone put it there. I actually did manage to pick up a little bag. That was exciting. I don't have it anymore, but this thing looks ready for a moonshot. This unbelievable amount of daily volume coming in here. I don't know where it will head. However, the 618 extension of this, given this is a log chart, doesn't look that high up, but the price amount is the same. And if you count that entire wick and extend from it, it's a little gross, but that's what you get. Other than that, I suppose you could stick a Chaos PRZ from this consolidation, which is actually kind of where we're approaching right now at about $1. So, you know, I don't know what they've got planned here. They're a $330 million market cap, and Woo looks strong. This buying coming in here is incredibly powerful looking. I don't know much about Must. In fact, I know nothing at all. However, I will tell you that it's sitting in a reload zone. So if somebody, you know, comes out post-launch hype, settling into this, reminds me a lot of ID and all those other charts we look at that come out, get hot, and then cool off in the reload zone. Look for breakout volume like this. This is quite promising right here. So really any break above $272 would be a trigger of bullish market structure, says we're ready to uptrend, and on that break you want to watch for volume, and I'd be hunting dips after that. API 3 is showing a really nice uptrend with lots of volume coming in along the way to support price. No sign of the bears just yet, despite getting held up here at the 1.618 fib extension. That seems to be the stopping point for now. If we continue from there, there's a quick tag here to the Chaos PRZ. And if you draw from this consolidation, there's a few ways you could do it, but that is one Chaos PRZ way up there. There's also a smaller range you could grab here. And that's part of what I said in the video, which you can watch here on the Chaos PRZ. And that is one that in general can be drawn a bunch of different ways. And you just kind of look for confluence with different tools, have a little fun with it. But there's a few levels to look at on the upside here, API 3. This chart just looks strong. There's an uptrend. There's no lack of volume. Similar looking chart here on VSP, trending up, breaking to new highs, stuck at the 1618 extension, and now back down to sort of an SR flip level. Kind of tagged it here. Now it's a third tag, went a little deeper. So it is showing some early signs of weakness, but generally speaking, on an uptrend, it's these higher lows that interest me the most. However, the third visit to this SR level does suggest there's a little bit of weakness. We'll see what this Chaos PRZ has in store. I imagine these guys giving out those high rewards, those nice APYs, perhaps is leading to some extra sell pressure on the VSP token. But the trend is up, the trend is strong, and from what I've heard, the project isn't going anywhere anytime soon. So looking at higher lows for a long position is generally the play. Remember that big crazy rally that Badger went on? Well, it is back down to the reload zone, kind of quiet. Nobody's really talking about it right now. Just the kind of chart that I like to take interest in. A little bit of buy volume building up here on Badger, which is encouraging given the level that it is at. And a continuation to, you know, new highs would probably take us to a fib extension up around $147. If you want to get really spicy, this isn't valid yet, but if we broke to new highs, and then this could be considered a consolidation range, and so we're just off into price discovery, this whole range becomes a valid Chaos PRZ zone, and you could draw it up from the lowest point to the highest point, and that would give us $308. So if we break to new highs, there could be some really interesting targets here using the Chaos PRZ. Now, someone told me about Razor recently, and I looked into it. It's an Oracle project with Alameda invested in it, just kind of sitting here casually doing nothing, but slowly, gradually, casually trending up. So on the higher low here, I decided to pick some Razor up today. I just think it's going to see its day in the sun. You guys know I'm already kind of bullish on Oracle plays right now. I've got some TRB, I've got some Band, I've got some Link, and I think this one isn't even on the CoinGecko list of Oracles, but it is an Oracle play. And Alameda invested. There's a few other investors there. I think this one may see its day in the sun. So Razor looks great. There's not a whole lot I can say chart-wise, except for that it's in a location that is interesting on the buy side for myself. If you grab this consolidation and kick up a Chaos, we're looking at $2.45 if we see strong continuation. And the volume down here tells me there are buyers picking up bags down here, so it's not like a dead coin where there's just no action. So once this is done with this range, I do expect to see some upside, always pending the overall market, of course. So that's it for Community Coin Thursday, guys. I'll be live tomorrow on here, Hxro Labs Live. Catch me there. You can follow me on Twitter at randomtask555. Until next time, have a wonderful day and always play from a position of strength. Take care.